The Titan's communications officer says Captain Riker will be ready in just a moment. You need to see this. The report on the data breach.
Damn. It's worse than I'd hoped. They didn't just compromise our shields. They stole the shield algorithms for all of Starfleet as well. Meaning every ship is potentially vulnerable to attack, making this so much worse than it already was.
At the risk of stating the obvious, wouldn't changing the algorithms solve the problem?
Yeah, I wish it was that simple. Unfortunately, it's an encrypted code that would take weeks to change, if not longer.
I have Captain Riker for you.
Let's not mention any of this shield business to Riker just yet. Put him through. Captain Riker, this is my first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
My pleasure.
Sir.
I wish we were all meeting under better circumstances.
So do I, although you and I have actually met before.
We have.
I was a young lieutenant on the Potemkin. You were first officer on the Tuckerman. I piloted you and our science officer in a shuttle to survey quantum resonance in the planetary rings of Resurgence 6.
Ah, yes. Now I remember.
You know, he gave me some good advice that day about a very difficult job. Yours.
Well, I'm not one to turn down some words of wisdom, sir.
Then let me ask, as first officer on a starship, where does your responsibility lie, first and foremost? To the captain, the crew, or the ship itself?
Oh, this old chestnut. I am curious to hear what she says, though.
My job is to support the captain, carry out his orders, and ensure his safety. Even if I disagree with him.
I like that. But the truth is, it's a trick question. Every situation is different, and there are no easy answers. And in some cases, it might not be any of those three. It could be the prime directive. Or the mission.
Yes, so perhaps we should get to the matter at hand. When you were with the Enterprise, you encountered a Takan entity known as Portal 6-3. The Enterprise was held captive in orbit until you were able to convince him to let the ship go.
All of which is detailed in the mission report.
What we want from you is what we can't get from the report. What can we use to get Portal 6-3 to help us?
I've often thought about that over the years. How a small difference in the encounter could have led to disaster. The most important thing is, don't let him push you around. He can appear as a man or as a godlike projection. He'll test you, but don't be overwhelmed by the pageantry and theatrics.
From the report, it seems he wields an incredible amount of power.
More than you could imagine. He's able to reach out and grab hold of starships like that, and let them go just as easily. Portal is full of bluster and bravado, but he can be reasoned with. And that's my other piece of advice. You want to appeal to him rationally. You don't want him thinking you're acting out of fear.
But we are afraid of the Takan, and with good reason.
He's not the sort to suffer fools. And he'll lose interest if he feels his time is being wasted.
I suppose that's one thing we have in common.
Do you think he knows that the Takan have returned?
He didn't even know they were gone when we went there. But the moment the Enterprise dropped into orbit around Delphi Ardu 4, he downloaded the entirety of the ship's computer. So I'd expect the same when you get there.
What if he won't cooperate and we have to face these Takan ourselves?
Then we have a much bigger problem on our hands.
What I mean is, in the 16 years since you discovered this outpost, there has to have been research. Battle plans for what to do about the Takan if we encountered more of them. I need to know what they are.
If I had that answer, it would have been the first thing I told you.
We both know Command has had their share of hidden plans in the past. Like Admiral Hansen and Captain Shelby's Special Projects Division at Starfleet Tactical, devising new ways to take on the board.
Trust me, this isn't some Starfleet conspiracy to keep you in the dark. But if you two don't think you're equipped to make contact, you need to tell me now. Because there is no silver bullet here. Now's not the time to hesitate. I need to know you're up to this.
Were you equipped to meet Portal 6-3 all those years ago?
I'm here, aren't I?
Yes, you are. And we have the benefit of your experience on our side.
Fair enough. There was a special task force that considered the Takan, and I was part of it. But because there were no other signs of the Empire, we determined the best course of action was to create a restricted zone around the Delphi-Ardu system. I have my concerns, but I'll clear the way with the brass for your travel into the restricted space. Just remember what I've told you. And it wouldn't hurt to read some Sun Tzu en route. Or Marcus Aurelius.
Anything else?
Machiavelli?
Your advice is well taken, Captain Riker. No matter what he throws at us, we'll stand up to this Takan Guardian.
I'm sure you will. Rest assured, the Federation is taking this threat very seriously. You won't be alone out there for too long.
Thank you, Captain Riker.
One more thing. Ambassador Spock said that Takan stole some data from your central computer. What's that all about?
We're still assessing the extent of the breach. Nothing to report as of right now.
That's it? Ambassador Spock suggested it was something more serious, which is why I'm asking.
We have our best people sorting it out. It's under control.
Okay. If I may, I recommend you keep Starfleet Command looped in very closely on that matter. There's a lot riding on this. And if it comes to it, the Titan and I will be ready to personally lend a hand in this fight.
Let's hope it doesn't get that far.
Riker out.
Thank you for not getting too specific with Riker about the data breach. Better we handle this ourselves, without all of Starfleet hearing about it.
I trust you had a good reason for withholding this information from Captain Riker.
This information will send a shockwave through the entire fleet. I'm sure Spock will agree. It should be compartmentalized on a strictly need-to-know basis. I have more research to do. So do you. I'm sure the ship's computer has Sun Tzu in its library. Dismissed.
It's the automated Federation warning buoy. Transmitting the disable code Captain Riker provided.
That was unpleasant. Commander Ermont, what are the conditions of our systems?
All internal systems operational.
Commander Westbrook, what are your scans of the planet?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
No sign of this outrageously powerful Takan being?
I'm running a magneton scan now, but so far, nothing.
Where are you? Prep your way, team. We don't know if Portal 6-3 will cooperate. If he's not an asset, he's an enemy. So be ready for anything. Prove you're worth keeping alive for a little while longer.
I cannot stop this ship any more than you could stop the tides.
Not good enough.
The impotent threats of a lower life form do not sway me. I will not bend to you. I was born 600,000 years ago. But a new age dawns today.
I liked you a lot better when you were Ryan Kapoor. Pain in the ass sometimes, but a stand-up guy when it counted.
You weren't friends with the one who gave up this body.
He didn't give it, you took it. And all the others.
My name is Zanud Losa. I was born in the final days of the Age of Makto. I am but one of many. We who took a leap of faith across the bridge of time to be reborn in these bodies.
Eventually, one of you will break.
You don't understand how overmatched you truly are. This craft was nothing before we imbued it with the speed required by our mission. And the Cartabula produces enough energy to drive an entire fleet of ships like this one. But when we wake the Aphelion, we won't need a fleet.
The Aphelion?
Only then will you understand the might of the Takan Empire. Reborn in this time.
And when you wake the Aphelion, what are you going to do with it?
Anything we want.
Come on! This goes from bad to worse unless you do what they say.
He's coming alive.
You can't stop the ship!
Then he will. Or we cut off his hands and use them ourselves.
The moment I reduce speed or change our heading, the others will know. First, they'll just resume course from elsewhere. Trivial matter. And then, they will come here. For you, this is a dead end.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Not if they're just going to start it again.
So you believe him?
I'm not sure.
Why would you tell us all this?
I tell you, because I value my own life. When my fellow Scions come, and they will come, I expect you'll all act like the savages you are, and a battle wounds you. You've all died once. I don't intend to do so again. I won't touch those controls. If you want to get us killed, do it yourselves.
You fear death. There's a way to stop this ship for good, and he knows how. He just needs more pressure.
What kind of pressure?
We hurt him, he'll talk. Trust me.
That's against Starfleet protocol.
You're not on a Starfleet ship. Your protocol does not apply. We take the action that will lead to our victory. Don't assume your moral code takes precedence above all others.
I'm not gonna torture them. Not like this. There's gotta be something we can work with here. This area here?
Power generation. The warp cores.
It's deserted. Going this fast, it would be too dangerous to force a warp collapse by cracking one of the propulsion coils. I could rupture the hull, end up damaging the Cartabula in the process.
And that risks tearing a hole in space.
We can't have that.
What's this?
This display shows the location of the Takan on the ship. This is where the infiltrators are, the central artery of ship systems. Sensors, propulsion, weapons. Doesn't seem to be working here.
This is weird. Engine status. Right. The warp cores are still practically redlined. However they've supercharged the Zeldi, it still relies on existing systems.
They just amplify the output?
But the Takan have already interfaced with those systems. The controls will be no use. So we'd have to find a way to manually shut down the warp cores.
Might not be a manual shutdown as much as it'll be sabotage.
No one appears to be guarding it. I think I can get us there. But once we're in, do you really think you can cripple my ship? Not something I'd normally ask. But I'm coming around to it.
You just worry about getting us there. I'll handle the rest.
This plan of yours has one problem. It strands us. Left out of the fight when there is a war going on.
Our fight is here, now. This is how we do the most good. For the Empire.
For the Empire.
So, Carter, you didn't beam out after all. I thought you'd escaped when we boarded. I'd almost hoped you'd made it off. And Nilly's there with you too, right? It's good you two are together.
Sounds like you miss me.
Miranda might have. She was so hopeful about you. But that's not why I called. You're not a fighter. I know it. You know it. That's why you're hiding. Somewhere on this ship. But the Takan Empire has so much to offer you. Think of all the knowledge lost for 500,000 years that you'd have access to. I know you want more from life, and I want to show you what you could be a part of. Not just the wonders you've already seen from us. In our time, we had the power to move stars. Carter, you have a thirst for discovery.
In case you forgot, we were a part of something. I still am. The Federation may not be perfect, but it stands for ideals that your people clearly do not believe in.
We have our own ideals. And we have our own strength. Every one of us on this crusade has fought wars more brutal and consuming than you could fathom. But I want to reach a peaceful resolution to this. Carter, we have a plan for you. And for the others, too. We don't want to have to destroy you.
What's this plan you have? Is it the one where you steal our bodies and erase our minds?
That's a simplistic view of it. Your memories will live on within us. We can continue this conversation in person. I'll see you on the bridge very soon.
Our comm badges. She's tracking our location with them.
If we have to use force to free our fellow Scions, there will be casualties.
We can't stay here. And we need to disable the transmitters.
Where'd you go? You don't want to talk to me?
She's trying to keep you talking.
I mean, I get it. But I'm trying to help you. You're still there. I think that's because you know we have something to offer you. And you're starting to do the math. And realizing that making peace with us is better than the alternative.
I don't know who you are, but you're on borrowed time. Miranda, if you're in there, I will find a way to get you back. Keep fighting. Got it.
Mine's done too.
Time to hit the road.
You've forgotten something. They know where we're going.
Set to stun. You're not going to shoot a guy who's unconscious, are you?
You keep getting in my way.
We've managed this far without doing it your way.
We are hardly in control of this situation. And now we have loose ends.
Solve the problem of what to do with him. Now let's move it.